In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the table available within Microsoft Power Apps or a Dataverse table named as organization table. Now, this table is found in Dataverse environment. So, if you spin a Dataverse environment available in the Power Platform system, then you will find this table. Now, what is the purpose of this table? Now, this table is basically stores configuration information related to your environment. Now the name is a bit confusing, organization environment, but then just assume that this is specific to your environment. So if you have multiple power platform environment, then every environment will have these sort of tables. Okay, so if you have environment named as dev, then you will have an organization table. If you have environment named as stage, then you will have an organization table. If you have an environment named as prod, you will have an organization table. Now for every environment you will have this organization table. Now basically this table will allow you to view or set some of the settings which will have a global impact for your specific environment. Now some of the settings you can edit. Now these settings, like as you see over here in the screen, there are some settings named as enable access to legacy web client UI. So this is kind of a yes or no kind of a switch, so you can turn it on or off. Then you have a numerical configuration like enable advanced lookup in edit filter. So this is like the data type of number. Similarly you will have different data types. Now there are more than 400 columns, so to be precise, I think there's more than that's approximately 457 columns which will have these sort of information. Okay, now some of the columns are editable, some of them are read only columns. Now this document I've extracted from Microsoft Learn. So these are set of writable columns. If you see over here, this is not a comprehensive list, the list is much more than this, but I just captured one of the screenshot from the Learn article. So here you will see these are the columns which you can write into it. So one of the column would be allow auto unsubscribe, or advanced lookup enabled, or advanced filter enabled, activity type filter. So like this you can edit the value. Read only column, these are some of the columns like created on, created by, base currency symbol, base ISO currency code. So all this thing like modified on, modified by name, modified, so these all things are the columns which you cannot edit, you can just view it. Then there are one to many relationship based columns as well. Okay, so you will have one reference from the organization table which is pointing to another table within the dataverse. So one of the table would be say teams table. Okay, so then if you link organization underscore teams record with this particular table like a teams table, then you will be able to establish that relationship. So I'm going to go through that in the demo. Similarly, you will have many to one relationship. Now from an organization table perspective, say you will have a column called as a organization, which is a GUID, which is basically a unique identifier for this table. Now this table will have a reference to the team table. Okay, and now within the team table you will have a lot of teams listed over here, and all this team will point to this set of organizations. So it has established a one is to many relationship. Similarly, there is many to one relationship. So take for example, in the organization columns table, you will have email server profile. Okay, so this is one of the column. Now remember, this is a list which I have shown you over here. So there are like around more than 10 columns over here. So I'm just talking about one of the column like email server profile. Now all the configuration information is stored in a separate table called as email server profile, and organization table has a reference from this table. So uh, s- now why I'm talking about all these things over here is because there are some settings like some power platform or environment related settings which we can change through graphical user interface, but there are still some settings which we may not be able to change through the UI. So you may need to use CLI or PowerShell to make those changes, right? Now from where all these columns or where all this configuration information are stored. So this is the table which will help you understand the concept or the logic behind how these informations are stored over there. So if you see the organization table over here, it has more than 458 columns. Okay, so you will have all this column based settings, but these columns are stored in a horizontal fashion. So instead of showing it in a row fashion, this particular table stores the information in a horizontal fashion. Now, if you see the description of this table, it says at the top level of the Dynamics 365 business hierarchy, the organization can be a specific business, holding company, or corporation. Okay, so let's jump into the demo. So I'm in make.powerapps.com. So I've picked one environment. Okay, so the environment is Girish Preview US. So now for this particular environment, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the table and then start typing organization. Now this is the organization is the Z one, so it is US based. So if you see, it's not ORGANISATION, rather it is ORGANIZATION. So if I go into this table, then if you see over here, the description what we see over here is the top level of the Dynamics 365 business hierarchy. Organization can be specific business, holding company, or corporation. Now this is a standard table. As you see over here, it's a standard table and it has a list of schema, data experience, customization, but then we're not going to go into the depth over here. But then if you see this structure over here, the column, so there are 460 column for it, and all the configuration informations are stored over here. Okay, now I'm going to come back to this, but before than that, I will show you one learn article. So this is an organization table entity reference learn article. So if you get time, go through it, because these are some of the things which will come handy while you troubleshoot for some configurational or parameterized based information for your specific environment. Now as you see over here, there is a article for messages, properties, writable column, read only column, one to many relationship, and many to one relationship. Now all this 458 columns comes under this category, either one of this category. So if you want to see which columns you can edit, okay, so click on writable columns attribute, and then here you will find the comprehensive list of the entry which you can edit. Okay, now some of these entries are available using the Power Platform Admin Center. Okay, so if I navigate to say Power Platform Admin Center, so let me show you what I meant. So here, let's assume you are under the context of say any environment. Say if I'm going into Girish Preview US, and if I click on settings, now in settings, now once you are under the context of one environment, and if you go in say behavior, okay, now here you will do some changes, right? Here you will turn on the switch or turn off some switch, or maybe set some value over here, say lookup behavior. Maybe you'll put some number over here, or here you will put a delay between character. Now where are all this information stored, or how you can configure it, right? Now these all things, some of them you can configure using the graphical user interface, but there are some more things which you cannot configure, and that's the area which you need to go to get those things configured. However, there are various tools available within XRM toolbox, or there are third party tools which you can use to make those changes. Now some of the things like say server profiles. Okay, so if you want to view the server profiles, now here you have server profiles of Microsoft Exchange Online. Okay, and if you edit it, you will see some sort of a configuration information. Similarly, if you go into email settings, then here you will see all these values like maximum file size for attachment, or if you want to turn on the audit or turn off the audit. So all this information comes from these particular setting. Now one of the setting would be allow web excel export. Now here, this setting, it says indicates whether web-based export of grids to Microsoft Office Excel is allowed or not. Okay, now you can make those changes. So let's find this setting, allow web excel export, in our organization table. So if I search for allow, or maybe I'll just say excel, allow export for excel. So if I click on this and click on save. Then for this particular organization, allow export to Excel is turned on. Now if I want to turn this off, what I can do, I can just turn this off from just with a click of one button. Okay. Similarly, you can go into other entries as well. Okay, so I've just picked one of the entry. Now that's about writable columns. Let's go into the read only columns. Now there are various read only columns available over here, like entity image URL, entity image timestamp, created by name, base currency symbol, base currency precision. Let's search for currency. If we find anything related to currency, yes, so if you see here, I can find base currency precision or base currency symbol. So let me select this both. Okay, now as per the documentation, as you see over here, base currency precision and base currency symbol are read only columns. Okay, so let me start editing this. Now if you see here, if I start editing it, you cannot edit this. Okay, because this is read only. Now the allow export to Excel was a writable column, and that's why we were able to change the status. But these two, which we selected, base currency symbol on the precision, which is already set by the system, and once it is set, you cannot change for a specific environment. Okay, so that's about writable and read only columns. Now there is a third type of column, which is called as one to many relationship. Now one to many relationship is about, say, your organization table is referencing some other table. Okay, so there is an organization underscore theme, okay, or organization kb articles or organization post. So let me click on organization post. Now what it says, it is same as the organization post, many to one relationship with the post table. Now in the other tab, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just search for post. If I find something called as post, or maybe I'll pick up some other example. So let me go back and maybe pick up, let me scroll down. Yeah, so let me search for theme or roles. Okay, so theme, and if I click on all, or maybe I'll just click on roles. Okay, and then let me search for other tables. Some There are some tables which are currently available right from the UI. So let me search for, say, if you see here, solution, package, catalog. So let me search for that solution. Okay, so there is a solution table over here. If you see, now this is a solution table and this is the organization table. Organization table has a column called as organization. I think this is the one, organization. So if you see this organization column, it is 90 CD GOID. And now if I go into the solution table, now the solution table will have internally have a column called as organization. Now, what does this table indicate is that there is one organization which is in your environment and there are multiple solutions. So the relationship is 1 is to m. Okay, 1 is to many. Now, if I select organization, then for against all the solution, you should be able to see that same organization number. Okay, so if I see here this one, so there is org D478F information. So if I just see this column, see this one, organization. Now this particular table, if you see here, org D478, this is pointing to this particular table over here. Okay, so that means it is establishing the 1 is to m relationship, and the unique identifier for this is organization. So like this, you can have 1 is to many and many is to one relationship. So if you go to many is to one relationship, then you have calendar, template, email server profile. So let me search for email server profile or calendar or any other thing. So email, let me search for email server profile. So if you see here, email server profile, Okay, so this is also one of the column which is getting pointed by the organization table. Now if I just type organization, now here there is a column called as organization id. So if I click on organization id against this email server profile, now this indicates that this organization id org d47a6f, which is the same as this organization name, is having that many is to one relationship. So like this uh, you can confirm all this information. So anything which is happening within the Dataverse environment is all configured and set as per the organization table. It will hold the massive amount of configuration information. So in case if you are unable to find any configuration setting, this will be the first table to have a look into it. So like this you should be able to explore various components. Now like this, if you see this documentation, now we have covered writable columns, read only column, one to many, many to one, and like that there are 450 entries. So if you want to explore more things, I would suggest having a look into all the settings over here, and you will be able to find a lot of things. So if you want to search for something called, let's say, copilot, okay, now there is one setting which is called as allow users to provide feedback to improve the copilot experiences. Okay, so if you turn this on, then you should be able to provide your feedback to Microsoft. But many organization does not want the information to flow from one tenant to say other system, then they should be able to turn this off very easily. So like this, if you want to set something related to currency or something related to email, you can search for that corresponding column settings and try to see what's happening within that particular organization column, organization table. So like this, for from an email perspective, you can check email correlation, bulk email and unified interface, ease approval for user email required, ignore internal email, email server profile, default email settings. So as you see over here, some columns are just a switch, so it is turn on or off. There are some column which is text based entry, so you see default email settings. So if I click on default email settings, you should be able to see uh, information about, basically it's a tag, like it's a markup, whereby you will here you will see a XML based information, okay, for default email setting. Similarly, if you want to see what kind of themes are available for this particular environment, you can search for THEM, and then if I select default theme data and high contrast theme data, then you should be able to see the default theme data, the theme table. If you see here the theme XML file, you will be able to see very easily over here, and you will exactly know what kind of color, what kind of page header background, accent color, logo tooltip, control shade, header color, all this from where it is coming. And this one you can easily, like say, if you check over here, you can see the information. You can copy this information in notepad and try to update the information, and same goes for high contrast theme as well. So that's it, folks. This is all about organization table. This is one of the most powerful table within Dataverse environment. And if you're troubleshooting for various settings or various configuration which are not easily available within the graphical user interface or Power Platform Admin Center, then this is the right place to have a look into it. Thanks for watching.